Welcome to the Wrestling Gremlins podcast.
I knew you'd come.
This is episode 48. I am your host, Bobby. Nick's not here today, and I'm going to get into that in a second. Nothing crazy or bad. I mean, me and Nick are very cool still. Well, let me just get into it now, actually. The reason that we've had this now 4 months hiatus is because, as you've heard in other episodes, Nick moved to LA. And I also work for a college and go to college at the same time, and I'm a full-time parent. We both have schedules that kind of clash. And right now, since Nick moved to Los Angeles, he had to find a different job, and that's taking a lot of his time up. So I didn't want to really do the show by myself without Nick, just for the sheer fact, the reason the show happened in the first place is, me and Nick are both originally from San Jose, California. We bring it up all the time. But me and Nick have known each other for a very long time, since early high school years. So, I mean, basically half our lives we've known each other. And, we're both like in the metal community, like underground metal, like grind and death metal and black metal and all those fun things. But we also had a really big passion for wrestling. We even both went to the Royal Rumble without even knowing each other, we love to talk about wrestling. And since we both moved, since I moved first, because he was in San Jose still, and he was able to go to shows and everything, I didn't have that outlet to talk wrestling about. That's why I think I kind of look at this a little bit differently than a lot of other podcasts. A lot of other podcasts do this for the idea of they want to, be better than another podcast, or want to talk shit about wrestlers, or, there's a lot of reasons why they get into it. The reason I got into it is because, for one, I used to be a singer in a band, so talking is something I don't mind to do. I don't mind if it's embarrassing. I don't mind doing it either. You know what I mean? I used to play in a band called the Gremlins. Check them out. That's kind of why the Wrestling Gremlins name came to be. But I would embarrass myself all the time, so I didn't mind getting and doing a podcast. I've been thinking about it for a minute, but then me and Nick started talking about wrestling, and that camaraderie was something I missed. I don't have many people to talk about wrestling up in Lake County, where I moved to. I have one friend named Marshall who I talk wrestling with every once in a while, but the main person I talk wrestling with was Nick. He's very knowledgeable. Me and him actually kind of got into New Japan a few years ago together, because I was already a fan of Ring of Honor. And like a lot of our things kind of intertied, and we were doing episodes of a podcast on a cell phone before we had a podcast. We would talk on the phone for like an hour, just bullshitting about Raw and SmackDown and New Japan. And it was like, you know what, we should do a show together. And I knew we were coming up on episode 50 soon, being this is 48. And I didn't want to do the show without Nick. It's I know I can do it. I know I can talk into a computer. I talk too much. I talk too loud. So it's not a problem, but it's not what I got into it for. I got into it with the idea that I can talk wrestling with somebody, and that's what I love to do. I don't care if, some podcast thinks they're better than me. If you like it, that's cool, because I love to do it. And the main thing I like to do was the bullshit with my really good friend about wrestling. And unfortunately, it just hasn't happened in the last 4 months. But there has been a lot of things going on with wrestling. I love the show, and and if anybody listens, I appreciate it. And it just it's an outlet for me to bullshit and talk about wrestling. Is something I've watched since my father got me into it since I was 3. Shit, man, I'll be 32 in July. I mean, I've been watching this for almost 30 years, man. And I don't want to stop doing the podcast, because something happens. There might be some changes in the future. Who knows? Like, if Nick still can't do it for a while, maybe I'll try to find other friends who want to bullshit about wrestling. But if Nick wants to come back, he's always welcome. He is the co-host of the show. He has much stock in this as I do. So whenever he's available, I want to have my co-host back. So don't think I'm trying to replace Nick. I'm just saying, if someone wants to bullshit with me on wrestling and I'm going to do a solo show anyway, screw it. Hit me up on Skype. You know what I mean? Especially for friends, if you're on Facebook or somewhere on Twitter. Yeah, if I'm down to bullshit about wrestling, that's all I want to do is just talk and have fun and converse about wrestling. That's why we do it. But hopefully Nick is back. He's been really busy, this job, like I said. So I'm going to try to talk to him in the upcoming weeks, and hopefully we can get back on track. I'm sorry for the 4-month wait. You know what I mean? Life's been kind of crazy, but there's no excuses that we shouldn't have stopped. And it is what it is. I should have manned up and just did solo shows like I'm doing today. But like I said, I wanted to talk wrestling with my friend. So, he'll be back. It's not like Nick's gone forever. He's just doing his thing right now, and he'll be back. So, much love to Nick, by the way. There is a lot of stuff that's going on because we are on the road to WrestleMania, ladies and gentlemen. I am excited. There's a lot of good matches. A lot of people are talking shit about WrestleMania this year. Like, oh, why is Braun Strowman in this tag team match? Why is Cena and Undertaker going to face? Okay, Ronda Rousey, what's she going to be like? They're all legitimate questions, and they're all very valid. Is Ronda Rousey, like, she's a great MMA wrestler or wrestler. She does wrestling too, jiu-jitsu and stuff. But how is that going to transfer to professional wrestling? You know what I'm saying? You can already tell that she's struggling on the microphone. And I think what it is in UFC, she was that UFC person. She was in her element. In very many aspects, Ronda Rousey is almost like you and I in the sense that she was a fan. She's going out there right now, living her dream. She loved the MMA life. She was really good at it. She was an Olympian. She's very decorated. But I think she's more of a fan of professional wrestling, where she was really good at MMA. She was one of the, if not the best. But I think she's more of a quote unquote, that funny word mark, as we are called, someone who enjoys wrestling. And I think now she's kind of starstruck. She's in the ring with a microphone with Triple H, Kurt Angle, for Christ's sake. Yeah, Stephanie McMahon, who slaps everybody. But she's in with these big name people where, could you imagine tomorrow, here's this bazillion-dollar contract. You get a match at WrestleMania, and you're going to go, do a program with these, mega stars in the wrestling company. It can be overwhelming at times. So I say give Ronda some time. She's an amazing athlete, and she's very charismatic. She has a look, and I think she's only going to get better. But I think she needs WWE, for one, needs to help her. They need to kind of guide her, almost how Paul Heyman like hides the weaknesses and builds the strengths kind of situation. She's an ass kicker. Don't have her go out there looking super shy and timid on a microphone and cutting a horrible promo where she could just be hunting down Stephanie McMahon and then say other, women get in her way and she just takes them out, like how Stone Cold used to be. If they're trying to do the Stone Cold Steve Austin gimmick with Ronda Rousey and Stephanie McMahon as Vince, they need to do what Stone Cold did. Yeah, he was cool, man. Like, he was the greatest, like, in my generation, he was the reason I watched WWE. When I was younger, I liked Jake the Snake Roberts. I liked the Ultimate Warrior. People like that. Bret Hart, The Undertaker. I'll be honest with you, I was never a huge fan of Hulk Hogan. I got more, like, I watched him, of course, but I don't know why. I was more like when the Warrior and Hogan fought, I was more about Warrior. But anywho, I think that they need to build her more like Austin is what I'm trying to get to. She needs to go just whoop some ass, and we don't even know what she can do yet. She's put Triple H through a table. She's flipped him at WrestleMania, and she grabbed Stephanie's arm. That's so far it. We don't know if she can really, throw a bunch of punches without hitting someone in the face and breaking their nose. There's a lot of things we don't know. It's the unknown. The unknown element is what the fascination is about Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. I'm very interested to see what happens, but I think we got to give it more time. That's what I'm trying to say. Speaking of the road to WrestleMania, we had a few pay-per-views this week. And, New Japan has had some really good things, too. They had Honor Rising, which we missed. I'm really disappointed that me and Nick weren't able to cover the Wrestle Kingdom that happened. But going forward, there's a lot of things going on. And a lot of new stars being made. In WWE, too. And I got kind of a point to that. I want to get your opinion. But we had a few pay-per-views. We had the 16th anniversary of Ring of Honor that was held in Sam's Town. in Las Vegas. And this is funny, man, because I live on the West Coast. You know what I mean? I was born and raised in California. I've been to New York. I've been to Baltimore, Florida. You know, I've been to the East Coast, and it's super cool, but it's hard to get out there. It costs a lot of money. So when Ring of Honor comes to the West Coast, you know what I mean? Like, it's not really the coast, but, you know what I mean? The more west side of America. You know what I mean? When they go to Nevada, to Las Vegas specifically, I've been wanting to go. I have two really, really, really close friends, Chris and Gianna. Shout out to them. They live in Vegas, and I've always, when Ring of Honor comes there, I want to go. So when they had the 16th anniversary pay-per-view there, I was kind of thrown off guard because I know they had one just recently. I think it's September. So I didn't even think about it, and I didn't even try to plan to go. But this pay-per-view set up a lot of really cool things, and some of the matches are just fun. And that's the one thing I love about Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor, in very, very many ways, is very much like NXT to me. Where NXT, you're not going to get the crazy, flashy, well, I can't even say pyro, but, you know, like the television stuff that WWE gives you. You know, you're not going to get that. What you are going to get is about a little bit over 2 hours. You know, Ring of Honor is almost closer to the 3, where NXT is closer to the 2 hours of just fun. It isn't a bunch of bullshit. It's not like, oh, okay, I'm going to watch another, okay, let's say Fast Lane. It was like watching SmackDown. When you watch an NXT pay-per-view, it's not like watching NXT television. There is a difference. For one, the crowd's bigger because they're in an arena. You know, so that's already one element that's different. Where SmackDown, besides the name of the show, doesn't seem very much different. That SmackDown, or the SmackDown Fastlane pay-per-view main event, that's a main event on a SmackDown for when we were kids, where they'd have everybody face each other on like a 6-man tag team match that has like The Undertaker, Austin, and The Rock versus name 3 superstars. You know, they were amazing. So this pay-per-view, it was good. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't bad. I'm not knocking it. It was what it was. But it didn't have a different feel. And NXT does. NXT has that different feel. And so does Ring of Honor. I mean, some of the matches you could see, like, yeah, you know, they have the same show element. I mean, Marty Scurll versus Punishment Martinez, you can find on a Ring of Honor show, you know, television taping, whatever. But at the same time, I'm not sure if they know it's a pay-per-view, so they pick up their match, like their quality of it. I'm not sure, but that match was amazing. But we're gonna get into the Ring of Honor pay-per-view right now, and they're doing the Women of Honor thing, and they're trying to crown the first ever champion, and that's a big deal. You know, bringing, like, I want to see New Japan do that too, but right now I don't even know if they have any prospect of who they'd want to bring in. But Ring of Honor is in the fundamental state of like building that women's division, and like, you know, they have Emma and Brandy Rhodes and Mandy Leon and all them. But at the pay-per-view, they had 2 matches as a pre-show, which I don't remember having any pre-shows for Ring of Honor recently, so it was kind of cool. The first one, you had Sumi Sakai, or Sake. I'm sorry if I'm butchering these names. I don't know them. Versus Hana Komura. Sumi won. She got the victory, and she'll be going on in the tournament. Where the next match was, I thought could have been. I'm sorry, I'm not getting much into the first match because I seriously got the pay-per-view, was kind of getting ready to watch it. The next match I started watching more into thoroughly, so I'll kind of get more into that. So I apologize for anybody who liked the first match of the pay-per-view. The next one was Tenelle Dashwood, formerly known as Emma, versus Brandy Rhodes. 2 things I thought about this match. 1, actually 3 if you want to think about it, 3, and they're mostly about Brandy. 1, when Brandy comes out, why is she not introduced as representing Bullet Club? I mean, she's on Being the Elite. She's with Cody and all the things. It's not like she's not part of it. You know, she comes out with the Bullet Club. So I don't understand, if to maybe build her stock more and maybe to get fans more behind her than they already are because she's the wife of Cody. Say, representing Bullet Club, Brandy Rhodes. I mean, like, I think the fans would get behind it more if they said that, even though it's kind of already implied. 2, I thought they'd have this match way later in the tournament. These are both big names. Yeah, they're both names from WWE or from Cody with Brandy, you know, but they're both names that you could have built to the finals. because besides these two, I'm just going to be straight honest. I'm not trying to say that I don't like women's wrestling, because I do. I don't know many of the women in this tournament. I mean, that's my fault for not doing my research on that. It's just, I mean, when they introduced all the women in it, I know Brandy, I know Mandy Leon, and I know Emma. That's it. It's my fault. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. But I thought they'd have this match later in the tournament because I thought it would be more of a main event, more of a name value, but they didn't. And three, maybe this is why they did it so early. Brandy's still really green. Yeah, I know it takes time, and it's fine. Like, dude, like it takes time to learn, but you can tell that Emma was holding this match, or Tanel Dashwood was holding this match up. She was the general, and for what it was fine. It wasn't like I was expecting it to blow the house down or anything, but it was fine for what it does. Emma got the win, so she'll be advancing. And this would bring us into the regular pay-per-view itself. The pre-show's over, so we're getting into the regular pay-per-view. And if I looked at this card, and I can't think of another match that would be a better opener than Hiromu Takahashi versus Flip Gordon. I joked around, with Hiromu. I was like, dude, they brought Daryl. I marked out. It's a joke that me and Nick have, like a running thing. Like, I'm actually gonna get it because just to like everybody. Okay, as you know, me and Nick both have a bunch of tattoos. So my wrestling tattoo I wanted to get just as a joke and just because I think it's cool is I have a leg. I have I call it the party leg. I have Drinky Crow on there. I have a gremlin for the Party Gremlins band I was in. And I have a snake that was from my goalie helmet when I played hockey. And I have Early Kyler. And the gremlin, Drinky Crow, and Early Kyler are all getting drunk. But I wanted to get I wanted to get Daryl tattooed as one of those good luck cats. The Japanese good luck cats. And under it, since he's part of LIJ, put Tranquilo. Like, I thought it'd be funny just as a joke. I don't take the tattoos I have very seriously. I like them to look cool, but it's more about the story behind it. And if someone doesn't understand why I have Daryl on my leg, fuck him, who cares? I mean, it's all for fun. But yeah, so it was Hiromu coming out with Daryl and Flip Gordon. I even tweeted saying this can steal the show. Like, this match could do a lot of good. These guys are both super talented. Flip Gordon is someone who's getting pushed very heavily because all his, get or where do you think you're going on being the elite when he does with the Young Bucks. Like, his name's getting out there, and he's a good wrestler. I kind of put him in the same vein as an American Will Ospreay almost. Because he's flashy, he's fun. He does a lot of those goofy like flips and stuff, but he's good. You know what I mean? So him versus Hiromu was a great opener. I was into it. Hiromu gets the win, but I think a lot of that is because they're flying from Japan, and everybody knows how popular LIJ is right now. So it makes sense to have Hiromu win here. It doesn't hurt Flip Gordon. He's only going to get bigger. I'm actually very interested to see who he fights in the All In pay-per-view because, excuse me, he's been lobbying himself to try to get into the pay-per-view, and Cody keeps saying no. So he'll be part of it. It's gonna be funny. But yeah, no, Hiromu gets the win. The next match is Marty Scurll versus Punishment Martinez, and the winner of this gets a Ring of Honor title shot for the world title. Yes. I didn't know what to expect in this match. The size difference is night and day. The fighting styles is night and day. And I was surprised to see how long Punishment Martinez has actually been wrestling for. Not because he's bad. I just haven't seen a lot of him before Ring of Honor. And I was surprised to see how long he's actually been wrestling. So that's cool. The match was great, man. For a big man, Punishment Martinez is an animal, man. He's crazy, doing flips like over the ropes, and he did one thing where it was Marty Scurll on the outside. Punishment Martinez runs, puts his foot on the second rope, and does a flip onto Marty Scurll on the outside. And for a big man, the way he did it was very impressive. So good on him. And the match was great. Marty Scurll does get the victory with a lot of really cool little things in there. Like he used the powder and umbrellas, like doing the whole villain thing. Everybody knows I'm a very big advocate for Marty Scurll way before he was Bullet Club, but not, back in the day, like the England stuff and all the other stuff he was doing for, I think, What Culture. And I didn't know that. My first match I saw Marty Scurll was, it was Dragon Lee, Will Ospreay, and Marty Scurll. And I was excited to see Marty Scurll, or not Marty Scurll, but Will Ospreay, because, him in that match with Ricochet, I wanted to see what he does in this match, especially as Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee's very talented. But Marty Scurll stole the show for me, and from then he's been like my favorite new wrestler for the last couple years. So to see him get this victory and get a chance for the world title, especially against Dalton Castle, it's gonna be fun. The villain versus the Peacock. I think it's gonna be a really fun show. So going forward, you have the hometown man, you got Kenny King, the King of the Night, versus the last real man, Silas Young, for the ROH Television Championship. I actually said earlier, I was like, okay, it's going to be Kenny King versus the champion, Silas Young, because I didn't even know that Silas Young lost the belt back to Kenny King. I remember him losing the belt, but I don't remember because he won it in Vegas earlier, and his daughter was there with him. That's super cool, Kenny King. And then I know Silas Young got it for a second. I don't remember when Kenny King got it back, but he had it. He was a champion going into his hometown, and he gets the victory. The bigger thing about this match, because the match itself was cool. It was a good match. But the more important thing was outcomes after the match. Austin Aries, the belt collector, as he likes to call himself. I just like A Double or the greatest man that ever lives. I think those are still funny little nicknames. But he comes out and says, I'm the belt collector. I've never been the Ring of Honor television champion. I challenge you, and I'm going to collect your belt, blah, 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 blah. And that's going to be a good match, man. We all know that the decorated past that Austin Aries has in Ring of Honor. So having him come in to face Kenny King, that's going to be a great match. It's going to be fun. Kenny King, if you haven't seen a lot of Kenny King, go back to his days even in Impact Wrestling. When he's part of TNA, that's where I discovered Kenny King. I didn't know he was Ring of Honor until later on when I was watching him in Impact. He's a great wrestler, man. He's really good. I'm surprised WWE hasn't tried to get Kenny King. Because for all the people I've said that WWE is going to try to go steal, there's a few names that are still out there that I'm just like, really? They haven't got him. Wow, that's crazy. Ricochet finally got over there. But, besides like Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, the people that, they're openly knowing they're trying to get, the people I thought like more on the hidden variety would be people like Kenny King. I think he'd be great over there. I don't know if Silas Young gained some weight, but he looked a little chunky in this match. But I think even Silas Young, if he can get back into like that kind of like better looking strength, like the better look that he had, I think his character of just being an asshole, the last real man, is great. I think it's a great idea. But yeah, Kenny King gets the victory in this, and Austin Aries comes out. So it's going to have probably at Super Card of Honor, probably Austin Aries versus Kenny King, and that's going to be a fun match. The next match you have SoCal Uncensored, which is Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky, facing the Hung Bucks, which is Adam Page, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks. This match was a little goofy for me. You can't say anything bad about the match itself, but having the interference at the end and all that other stuff, like that was a little too much for me. But before that, the match itself of the Young Bucks, I keep on saying like, oh man, the first match and the second match, man, they might steal the show, blah, 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 blah. The Young Bucks come out there and they're the Young Bucks. You can't not watch them. They're very polarizing. You see them do these flips and super kicks and reversals. Like they're very fun to watch. I mean, that's all I can really say on that. They're fun to watch. I didn't really like the finish. I don't mind that SoCal Uncensored got the victory, but the ending was a little, it was a little messed up for me. I don't know. But the match itself was great. It was fun. But yes, SoCal Uncensored gets the victory. They're the new 6-man tag team champions. So, I mean, we'll see where they go from there. It's kind of funny when you see the Young Bucks. They always win a title and then almost very, very shortly after lose it. That's why they have so many title victories, but they also go all over the world, so probably dates and obligations, and you want the title to be there. The opposite of what WWE does with Brock Lesnar. If you're not there, you shouldn't be a champion. I mean, if you're not going to be able to do the shows, come on, Brock. I mean, I know that's WWE in the contract, so I'm not hating on Brock, but I could see why people lose belts if they go to a different company for a certain amount of time. I could be wrong though too. The next match, I'm actually kind of surprised. I wanted to see this more of a high-profile match, where like maybe Cody gets the belt back or Taven gets the belt, and then they kind of do their own thing, and then they kind of meet again. I don't know. Like I'd like to see this match later on, or for more importance, because I believe Matt Taven with the Kingdom, who did interfere, and Cody with Bullet Club, I think this feud has a lot of potential, and I think Matt Taven, especially. When you talk about stars in the making, like I know he's been there for a while. Don't get me wrong, I know he's been there, but man, I just something about Matt Taven. I just he's only going to get bigger. Yeah, he's already a big star in Ring of Honor, but I think what he's doing, this whole Melvin thing and all the stuff that he's doing, I think is great, and I think he's only going to get better. Cody does get the victory here, but the biggest thing that came out of this was Barry the Bear, the mascot, came out with Cody and Brandy Rhodes, who was dressed and not in wrestling gear from the earlier in the night. Barry comes out and he kind of interferes a little bit, like kind of messes up, but Cody still, he gets the victory. He gets a victory over Matt Taven. And then they go in the ring and it's Barry, Brandy, and Cody. And Cody and Barry were going to hug it out basically. And then all of a sudden, Barry shoves Cody. Barry takes off the big bear helmet to find out it's Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega attacks him. Cody rolls outside. Brandy starts yelling at Kenny Omega and plants a big old kiss on him. This whole Golden Lovers, Brandy and Cody storyline kissing it's funny to me. Cody kisses Kota Ibushi. Kenny Omega gets kissed by Brandy. I'm almost wondering, like, if, say, later on, Kota, I wonder if he goes to the Bullet Club and Kenny gets out and they can start up a whole feud between, like, ex-Golden Lovers of Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi. I don't know, just thinking out loud, just for fun. I also have an idea, and I asked this to Mish from Wrestling Soup. I brought up the All In show, because I heard something on Solo Monster where a fan or somebody said, like, about the All In with, CM Punk, and saying, oh, what if he's in there at the All In pay-per-view? I kind of brought that one step further, and I was thinking, what if you have this? Okay, say you have this. Okay, you have the All In pay-per-view, right? That's, I think, in September. I forget. I think it's September 1st, November 1st, something like that. And you have the Super Card of Honor coming up. Have Kenny Omega versus Cody. And if CM Punk's going to do this, you can't have CM Punk be a surprise at All In. You have to have him do something to set it up that he's going to be there. Have him screw over Kenny Omega. Have him screw him over so Cody gets the victory over Kenny Omega. Then at the All In show, you can have CM Punk versus Kenny Omega, and I'm pretty sure you can get 10,000 people in a diehard wrestling city like Chicago to go see their boy CM Punk face arguably the hottest wrestling act right now, Kenny Omega. But that's just another thought in the air. Run with it. See what you guys think. The next match you have is the Briscoes versus the Motor City Machine Guns, which both great tag teams, both very decorated. The thing about this match is it made me think with the Briscoes. The Briscoes got the victory in a really fun tag team match. Back and forth. These guys are both these teams are pros. I mean, what do I have to say about the Motor City Machine Guns? And really, come on, if you see them in Impact, if you see them in Ring of Honor, like, you know what they're about. And the Briscoes are the Briscoes. They're now the 9-time tag team champions. And it makes you think, back in the day, you had teams like the Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express, the Rockers, all those cool teams. And then you had teams like the Legion of Doom, so many titles. And then you had, a team going to the Hall of Fame this year, the Dudleys. When can you put tag teams from this generation with tag teams from that generation? 9-time champions, and what about the Young Bucks? The Young Bucks have a lot of titles, and I know titles don't mean everything, but in those careers, tell me, okay, everybody says the Road Warriors pop, right? Because they're such a big team. Tell me a team on the indies right now, or even WWE, tell me any other team that gets a bigger response than the Young Bucks right now. No? Well, I mean, if you can think of somebody, please tell me, because, I'm not trying to argue or be a dick, but we have to start thinking in other terms. When I was a kid, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, The Undertaker still now. I mean, all those guys, they're becoming who all those other later earlier stars used to be, like the Hulk Hogan's, Ultimate Warriors, and if you go farther than that, the Bruno Sammartinos, they all become legends. But when does that legends title be given to you, or maybe that you can start thinking that they're on their way to be that? I mean, people are going to look at AJ Styles now and say, when he's retired 10, 15 years from now, wow, he was amazing. He was, sorry, pun intended, phenomenal. He's going to be somebody that people will think very highly of. The Shawn Michaels is, back then. So where do we put the Briscoes in this conversation? Do they have to be in WWE to get the recognition of being a great tag team? I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. I still think they have time. I would love to see the Briscoes at least try to go to NXT or WWE because they've won titles everywhere. I mean, what else have they needed to do? I know they have the whole chicken, company they're doing that they have with their family and makes it the obligations to WWE a lot harder. But I think all these great talents, if you look at the Dudleys, they've won New Japan titles. They've won NXT or not NXT, but Impact championships. It's Billy Ray's won a Ring of Honor tag team championship with the Briscoes. There's a lot of comparisons to teams like this that the next step in their evolution would be to go to WWE. So we'll see. I also wanted to say before I get into, actually, it kind of leads into the last match. I'll talk about it when I get there. The last match we have is Jay Lethal fighting Dalton Castle for the Ring of Honor World Championship. This was a fun match, really brutal. And I've always wondered what is up with all the back knee on Dalton Castle, because he's not like he's super ripped. I don't think it's steroids. But I don't know. Maybe I'm naive because he's not a big dude. But the back knee thing kind of reminds me of Jinder Mahal, who I do think is on steroids, but that's not here or there. The one thing I like about Dalton Castle, and this makes I want to bring this question up to the fans of WWE. Dalton Castle is someone who Ring of Honor brought up. They made him the star he is today. I know a lot of, what do you mean star? He's an indie wrestler. No one knows Dalton Castle unless you watch Ring of Honor. Still, if you watch indie wrestling, you know who Dalton Castle is, and you know where he started from and where he is now. It's a very great story. They built him to be a star in that company. They made him the champion. They're working around him. It makes you say that, WWE doesn't make any new stars. And I want to bring this question to you, if that's true or not, because I don't believe it is. If you look at stars right now, I know a lot of people don't like it. Look at Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has been here for the last 5-6 years or whatever he's been here, whatever the Shield started in NXT. The Shield didn't start in NXT, but whatever their career was in NXT and then going to the Shield until now, that's relatively new. Same with Seth Rollins. I know he was Tyler Black in Ring of Honor, and then you got, Dean Ambrose, who was John Moxley, CZW, and all that other stuff. Still, they got made into. No one knew. I'm sure people knew who John Moxley was, but Dean Ambrose is a bigger name than John Moxley. Same with Seth Rollins over Tyler Black. They're bigger household names now. But if you look at other stars that are being made, you have people like Elias. I will be the first one to give. I will give Kevin Castle all the credit in the world, man. He, from the get-go of Elias getting on the main roster, he was behind him. Me watching NXT myself, I did not like the Drifter. I fucking hated the Drifter. I was like, God, he's boring. But I don't know why. But the character transitions to the main roster way better than he does on NXT, which is the opposite of a lot of other people like Tyler Breeze and Ty Dillinger. Don't have Ty in your name. If you're Tyler or Ty, just stay away from NXT. Because they're just going to leave you in the doldrums. But I think WWE is making stars, and it's great because look at Braun Strowman. If they switch this whole idea that Roman's the main guy and start building a little bit more around Braun, you tell me that he couldn't be the next big thing of WWE. I think there's a lot of good stars in the uprising of WWE if you look at it. a lot of people that they can build around. They're taking everybody from the indies. So believe me, you're going to have some good people coming in, and you're going to have, hopefully, not good people, but some lesser talent leaving WWE. And I don't want to see anyone get fired, but there's so much you can see of a certain wrestler who has very little skill, and you see great skill down there just kind of waiting to get their time. So, but the match between Dalton Castle and Jay Lethal was very, very good. There was a lot of cool spots on here. And not even spots like, those dives that Lethal does, but like reversals, holds. It's just an overall good match. Dalton Castle does win with the Bangarang. But after the match, Marty Scurll comes out and they get into each other's face, setting up the match at Super Card of Honor. And I believe it's on the 7th of April up in New Orleans. So that is something I'm very interested to see. I am a very big fan of both these wrestlers, Dalton Castle and Marty Scurll especially. So watching this, I'm not going to be mad either way, whoever wins. I'd like to see Marty get it, but if he doesn't, I'm not going to be pissed off they kept the belt on Dalton Castle. And so to end this pay-per-view, I'd like to say that like the pay-per-view was good. It was fun. Was it something that's going to blow your mind and change your outlook on wrestling? No. But if you want to just forget about your bullshit for like a couple hours and just have fun, this is the pay-per-view to do it to. It doesn't drag. There's a lot of times where I'd want to take a break, and I was like, okay, which one do I take a break on, and kind of go back and forth. No, I mean, it was a good overall pay-per-view. So I recommend it. Going forward, we have before I get into the Fast Lane pay-per-view, I kind of want to talk about WrestleMania coming up. I think there's a lot of matches that people should look at and actually be kind of excited about. I know everybody's saying, oh, AJ Styles versus Nakamura, that's the one that's going to steal the show. And probably it will. It probably will steal the show. Like, if anyone saw the match between them at Wrestle Kingdom a few years ago, you know what the possibilities between this match are. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Technical, hard-hitting, flying around by AJ. Like, it's going to be what you expect if WWE lets them do it. But let's look at the other matches. Roman and Brock, dude, if you guys remember when WrestleMania was in my home area, they say Santa Clara, but it's basically, San Jose's left nut. You know what I mean? Like, San Jose's the bigger city to Santa Clara, but Santa Clara is there. Like, we're basically tied in. They had a good match, and then Seth Rollins made it even better by having him win and not those guys, because no one wants to see either of them win at that point. So it was good to see that. So they do have chemistry, so the match should be fun. Other matches you should look forward to. You don't think Charlotte and Asuka is going to be badass? Like, that's going to be a good match, guys. That's going to be fun. There's so many things to look forward to. It's WrestleMania. I know if you're listening to podcasts, you're probably someone who's more on the knowing side of wrestling. You're diving in deep to watch New Japan or Ring of Honor or PWG or Lucha Underground or any of those things. Impact Wrestling, I don't want to leave that out. You are probably going to like things like Wrestle Kingdom more or All In. But I don't think you guys should take away from where your wrestling passions lie from, man. They started in WWE. I don't want to hear, like, the majority of the people are going to say, well, WWE sucks. Yeah, that's fine. That's maybe not what you're into now. And put it this way, it's like this. I look at Pantera, and bands like that is like, oh, they're not that good. I like bands like Spawn of Possession. I like bands like Morbid Angel and like stuff like that. But does it take away that Pantera and other bands like that got me into metal in the first place? No. My taste changed. I got into grindcore. I love Birdflesh, I love, a bunch of fun bands. But it all started from the fundamental root where it had to start somewhere. WWE is that for a lot of wrestling fans. And I don't think you should be so... Has the product been great right now? No. It's been very lackluster. But to shit on it just to shit on it just seems very unnecessary. Because there are good things. You just have to look for it, man. Be positive. I know it's something rare for the internet community to do is be positive. But who knows? Let's say they put Neville with Braun Strowman against the Bar. That's not going to be fun for you? Neville's amazing. So is Cesaro. I mean, I'm a big fan of Braun Strowman, and I think Sheamus has gotten way better with being with Cesaro and making a team that they're having fun with. And saying Samoa Joe as a tag team. Dude, Braun and Samoa Joe? Come on, there's a lot of things. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens might be fighting. I haven't watched SmackDown yet this week, so. I know they attacked Shane. I haven't seen it. But there's a lot of things. Undertaker. Okay, Undertaker versus John Cena. I don't give a shit who you are. I know people are like, oh, he's old, he's this, he's that. Dude, I'm telling you right now, you can have a match between Titus O'Neil and Big Show. It would be 100 times worse than watching, Undertaker versus John Cena. Yes, it's hard to compare those guys with those guys. I understand, I know. But still, I'm just saying it's something that we should have saw a long time ago, but I'm not mad that we're going to see it now. Same if we would have saw Sting and Undertaker. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Just say we saw it. I mean, is it going to be that 5-star, 7-star classic? No. But I think the storytelling of this will be better than the majority of the matches at WrestleMania. It might be unpopular to saying Cena and Undertaker might be one of the better matches, but I think it will be just by the story. I think they can tell a story in the ring, which is like, oh, this is I'm the old bit, the old veteran, and I'm John Cena. I got to prove myself still, and just the story they can tell, going like, I'm not going to give up, and then I'm going to beat you up, and the respect and all the videos from back in the day when Cena was just getting started, they can build that. We'll see. But getting into Fastlane. You had the pre-show match of Breezango and Ty Dillinger, who we talked about earlier. Ty Dillinger, man, and Tyler Breeze in the doldrums of WWE. I honestly think Breezango could have done something, and they just never pulled the trigger with it. They did Fashion Files and let it die from there. It's unfortunate. Like, they're still doing it, but it's really is irrelevant. You have the ultimate I can't even explain this Rusev Day thing right now, man. I love it. It's funny. Everybody's into it. It's one of those things where we always love when it works is the very unlikely couple. If you looked at Goldust and Booker T, no one would have thought that would work, but it did. And now you have Aiden English and Rusev, two characters doing absolutely nothing at points, and now we're super over. Even though I don't know why they keep pushing them so heavily as heels. But you have a team with Rusev Day that's so out of the blue, and they're entertaining. It's great. I think they should bring Emma along with it too, besides the mixed match challenge. I think they should make a little Rusev Day crew. I don't know. We'll see. But they're facing Shinsuke Nakamura. Like, okay, so do you think Shinsuke Nakamura wasn't going to win this match? Come on. He's going to face AJ Styles for the world title at WrestleMania. I mean, I love Rusev and this whole Rusev Day gimmick with Aiden English, but you can't have the person challenging for the belt lose here. It's just wrestling 101. I'm not killing the business by telling secrets here. You can't have the guy going for the title lose the pay-per-view before WrestleMania if you're trying to keep him looking strong. If you wanted to say, oh, he lost and maybe I don't know, his confidence is gone, I don't know if he can do it, then have him be the underdog going into WrestleMania. But that's not the story you're telling with Shinsuke Nakamura. He's going up saying to AJ, I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania. So you have to have him beat Rusev here. The next match, I was actually really surprised about, and I'm not really too excited about it. Randy Orton beats Bobby Roode for the U.S. title. This is kind of like, I don't want to say building new stars because, Bobby Roode's 40 years old, but did Randy Orton really need this title? I know it makes him a grand champion or whatever, but who is it help more going into WrestleMania being champion? Bobby Roode, who is a fresher face to WWE, or do you want Randy Orton, who's been part of so many main events at WrestleMania? I just think you had a chance here, and maybe, Bobby Roode probably will be thrown into this match at WrestleMania. I don't know. I just didn't see why Randy really needed the belt right now. The match was fine. It was what it was. Randy's a good wrestler. He's boring as shit, but technically, me and Nick talk about this all the time, and so does a lot of other people. He's technically a good wrestler. He's very fundamentally established. He knows what he's doing in there. He's just kind of watching paint dry at times. Bobby Roode is very much like Randy Orton. The thing about Bobby Roode, he's a better heel, and so I'm not a big fan of this whole main roster call-up right now. I'm hoping this is kind of the beginning of him switching to be a heel. We'll see, probably after WrestleMania. But Randy gets the victory here, and we'll see where it goes. I know Jinder Mahal is going to be part of this. We'll see how it goes from here. The next match wasn't... I don't know what you want me to say about this. I'm not even really going to get into it. Natalya and Carmella defeated Becky and Naomi. This is seriously what I was saying earlier about SmackDown television shows and SmackDown pay-per-views. This is basically the same thing. You can have Daniel Bryan say, we're going to have a tag team match today. Yes, yes, yes. It's going to be the last kicker, Becky Lynch, when she feels the glow with Naomi. They're going to face the Money in the Bank winner, Carmella, and the Queen of Cats, Natalya. Right after the Snickers commercial. Like, it's a SmackDown fucking episode. It's ridiculous. But, the match was fine. It was whatever. It's Natalya and Carmella get the victory. Like, I like all the women in this match. I think they're all very talented. But it was filler to me. The next match was the Usos versus Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. The match ends in no contest. The story here, like, even though the match was fun, it was fun is, I guess, the Usos and the New Day do what they do. It was great. But then, like, you have the main thing that came out of this, the Bludgeon Brothers come out and just wrecking shit and just taking out both teams. Now Xavier Woods is hurt, supposedly. I don't know if it's true or not. But, yeah, so the Bludgeon Brothers look like they have a spot at WrestleMania, and I'm really happy for it. I think everybody's a big fan. I haven't heard many people ever say how they're not a big fan of the majority of these people, especially the Bludgeon Brothers. Luke Harper he's a very talented wrestler, and he's very much left on the side where he should be more of a main player. I almost feel like they should have done more with him with the Wyatt family, but I don't want to get into the Wyatt family right now because I will really quick. I will sidetrack for a second, so sorry to get off topic. But with this final delete or ultimate deletion that they're going to be doing next week on Raw, which they should be doing at WrestleMania, I brought in the point, once again, asking Mish and Don Tony on this, if Sanity should get involved at this match, because you're going to have Matt and I guess probably not Jeff because of his DUI, but, King Maxwell, Lord Wolfgang, Vanguard One, Senor Benjamin, Queen Rebecca, blah, 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 like the whole family. You have the whole family there. They're going to be on the compound, and I'm sure there's going to be some surprise little visits from people here and there. But what if Sanity made their main roster debut that night by helping Bray and becoming the new Wyatt family? That's the one thing that I think everyone agrees on. It's kind of hard to be a cult leader without a cult. You know what I'm saying? Charles Manson had followers. Jim Jones had followers. Bray Wyatt's this guy who looks like the majority of the people you see at metal shows, or a homeless person begging for change like I used to do. Like, he's one of these guys who, what's so fucking scary about him anymore? I talked to Marshall about this. He's the guy that lives around the county, one of my people I know that likes wrestling. We're saying, do you remember when the Wyatts came into WWE? Not NXT, but when they're making the transition. And that promo inside that like rundown house, going to the different rooms and Luke Harper saying, "Don't stray." That was cool. That's what they should have worked off of. And ever since then, it's been downhill for the Wyatts, especially Luke, or not Luke, but Bray. So bringing him up, I don't know. I think they could have been cool in this match, but at least the Bludgeon Brothers going back on top are going to be in WrestleMania. So good for them. The next match is Charlotte Flair and Ruby Riott. Once again, a lot of these matches have more underlying stories that are building towards WrestleMania than the match itself. This match was never about Ruby Riott and Charlotte. It was a good match. It was fun. But the main thing that it was about was building up Asuka choosing Charlotte to face her at WrestleMania instead of Alexa Bliss, which everybody thought it would be. So that Asuka comes out, chooses Charlotte, she points at the sign like everybody else, and they're going to be facing at WrestleMania. I have no problem with this. I think it's going to be a great match, and I think the story between Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss is better anyway. There was no real anything between Asuka and Alexa Bliss. There is the story of best friends, and now betrayal from Alexa Bliss to Nia Jax, which happened on Raw. So the story's great. I like how it's going. I'm sure Alexa Bliss will probably have Mickey in her corner, or they'll say Mickey can't be there, but I think trying to get everybody on the card, Mickey will probably be there. And it gives Alexa more of a believable chance of beating Nia, which I don't think is going to happen. This brings us to our main event of AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens, John Cena, Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, and Sami Zayn. This match was really fun. If you have a chance, check it out. John Cena does his John Cena thing, smiling and doing AAs and double and five knuckle shuffles. And John Cena knows his place right now, man. He knows that he is very much 50-50 by the fans. He knows he's basically out of here. It's one of those things where he can break that fourth wall and not give a shit, and it's almost his character at this point. A big story here, which I want to see how it plays out because I know they attacked him on SmackDown this week, but when Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn got screwed over by Shane again, Owens went for a pin. Nope. Shane pulled the referee, or he interfered somehow. I forgot what happened. It's one of the other. And then Sami Zayn also, I think he was the one that got pulled out of the ring by Shane. That's what happened. He also got pulled out. So I think the ref got pulled out for Owens, and then Zayn himself got pulled out by Shane. And that's kind of what builds up to like, hey, you screwed him over, and now this all happened. I'm wondering where it's going to go. I've heard Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. I've heard, it's going to be Vince and Shane versus Owens and, Shane and Vince versus Owens and Zayn, which I do not want to see. I think the only, Daniel Bryan's not going to fight, so I'm not going to put that thing up there for everybody to think about. But I had an idea of having Shane McMahon be the special guest referee for Owens and Zayn at WrestleMania. It gets everybody in there. It kind of brings this feud to fruition. Like, there's a lot of good ideas here that we can probably work with. We'll see where that goes. The main thing here is AJ Styles does get the victory, and he does point to the sign, and he's going to face Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania. Overall, this was a fun pay-per-view. It was better than SmackDown, but not much because it is a SmackDown-based show, and it is very much like SmackDown. I think the main event was great. I think they built a lot of good storylines, and it's a positive towards towards WrestleMania. So overall, it's a very positive pay-per-view. My final thoughts before I get out of here is I want to say thank you if you guys still follow us or talk to me on Twitter or listen to our shows. I'm sorry they've been gone for 4 months. I will make it a priority to every week try to throw a show out. If not, I will let you know. It just, life is, like I said, very crazy. I'm taking 6 classes and working, and like I said, I'm a dad. I love doing this. I know Nick does too. I hope we can get this back on track. Maybe this episode will kick Nick in the ass to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to find time to, hit up Bobby and we'll do this show again. Who knows? Because, like I said, we started doing this show just because it's two friends is bullshitting about wrestling. Hopefully you guys like that too. I'm not trying to act like I'm smarter than anybody. I'm just a fan. I'm just a guy who's been watching wrestling for about 30 years and loves it and wants to talk about it. My dad, before he passed away, he instilled something in me saying, fall in love with your passions. And my two passions, like hobbies, is hockey and wrestling. I love the San Jose Sharks. Like, that was something I grew up loving, and I got into hockey, and I played for many, many years. I'm actually trying to get back into playing since I'm older. And wrestling, my dad took me to the San Jose Civic Center, and like I told a story about how we were front row. Earthquake fell on my dad's foot. My dad was cussing out Earthquake, not cussing about yelling at him, like, being this antagonist because he's a fan and he knows it's all fake. Me being a 3, not 3, I was probably like 5 at this point. I was scared, like, oh, let's move seats, because Earthquake was huge, So the things that he got me into and I got into and I'm trying to get my son into are things I'm passionate about. And I like talking about it. And I like, if someone wants to interact with me, I love talking to you guys about it. I enjoy talking to people about wrestling because it's fun. And that's what it really is meant to be for, not to be so angry and bitter. Having Roman Reigns win at WrestleMania, is that really going to change your life significantly? No, but at least it's something to watch. At least it's more entertaining than watching something that you hate. It can get your mind off life, man. Like, I've had a lot of really crazy shit happen this last year. Like, my dad died from cancer and a few other really crazy things that I'm not going to get into. But the one thing that kind of gets my mind off bullshit is just watching the things I like hockey or wrestling, So, if you guys ever want to talk to me on Twitter, which kind of segues to my plugs, like what I did there, you can hit me up on Facebook under Robert Lowry. Find me on Twitter under Robert Lowry. I'm holding a microphone, yelling, singing. But you can also find me. I'm the one who runs the Twitter for our show under Wrestle Gremlins for the Wrestling Gremlins podcast. You can find our page if you ever want to hear our episodes on our Facebook page, so you don't have to go searching for it everywhere. Go to Facebook and go to the Wrestling Gremlins podcast. We have a page. And also, I want you guys to check out some other shows. I know we plug them every week, but man, they're all really good people, and their shows and websites are great. check out Knuckle Up. That's Nick's boy. He also plays on a really good band. If you do some research, you should check it out which one it is. Oxbow. Dropping names for Nick. Also, check out Wrestling Soup, dude. Him and Mission Joey are both really cool guys. They got John Draper over there, so they're on Thursdays. They have it on Thursdays. Also, get their Patreon, just like the Don Tony and Kevin Castle show. They have so much content. I do the $5 thing where I pay Wrestling Soup $5 and Don Tony $5, to hear all their other content that you don't get for free. Hearing Castle Chronicles or Dark Chronicles or Breakfast Soup or Rex of Blasey or blah, 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 all great shows. And then you got, Global Balding. You have a bunch of really cool wrestling. Well, the Wrestling Soup Saturday Morning Shitbox is free. But all great shows. Check out All the Monster Sounds Off. If you want to hear anything about wrestling on YouTube or just the website itself, check out the guys from NoDQ.com, Aaron Riff, Jeff Meacham, all those boys over there, shout out. And yeah. Oh, also, did you guys know today is 3/16? So it's Stone Cold Steve Austin Day. I think this is the first time in history that it actually falls also on Rusev Day. Sorry, I had you guys. But yeah, for the Wrestling Gremlins podcast, for Nick, who's somewhere in the atmosphere, high five to Nick. Love you, bro. I'm Bobby. Everybody have a great week. Later. Oh, for Nick. Goodbye, bitches.